Welcome yet to another segment of Push Moments podcast. I am your host, Paula. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so today and stay tuned for more episodes, more gossip, and more news on what's trending across the globe. On today's episode, allow us to talk about what just transpired between Dentsu School of Influencing and Kenyan influencers and content creators. So, for those who don't know what Dentsu School of Influencing is, this is a community that has measured and dedicated its time in training influencers and young content creators who would like to develop their skill and major in the endorsement industry. And then they also are a company that is affiliated with several brands, and they help these brands in doing the influencing part and creating brand awareness on their products. So Dentsu School of Influencing advertised an opportunity for influencers who would want to work with them and be brand endorsers of the different products they are affiliated with. And various influencers from Kenya actually applied for this opportunity, and they ended up shortlisting 300 candidates. And they stated that they would like these candidates to show up for an interview. So definitely when you're called for an interview, you'll prepare yourself, you'll find the most suitable outfit and what have you. You will show up on time. Yeah, so everyone came prepared to partake and be involved in the interview and to see, because they were looking forward to end up with a list of 100 influencers only out of 300 shortlisted candidates. So when influencers show up at the venue, they find that the venue is not even set up. So amidst the scorching sun, they sit there and wait for Dentsu School of Influencing to go ahead and organize the venue so they can kickstart the event of that particular day. And when everything is set up, Dentsu School of Influencing, like the guys who are in charge of the whole day event, come down and ask these influencers to queue. And when they're queuing, my queue, it's amidst a scorching sun. These guys have been here for over 2 hours. Let's talk about maybe those who left home knowing that this is going to be a quick task, and then maybe they'll be back home maybe to grab lunch and what have you. They've been here for over 2 hours. These guys have waited for the content creators and influencers to get on the ground. Is when they're doing the setup, but then the Kenyan influencers are just quiet and chilled, waiting for the big day to begin. And then on to the big day beginning, they are presented with a contract, one that is hard copy, and then there is a PDF contract. And guess what? The content of the contract states that they are getting into a contractual agreement with Dentsu School of Influencing. They're going to be doing they're expected to be doing 10 stories on Instagram, one reel, and then one post on TikTok, endorsing the products that are on the ground. So you were as an influencer and a content creator, you were expected to sign that particular contract before you can get access to the venue. And they ended up doing this. And when they get onto the venue, some particulars of that contract stated that when you create and you upload, and if this content goes viral, it solemnly belongs to Dentsu School of Influencing. And then like once you're done the recording and you've posted the 10 stories, the one reel and the one TikTok post, if it was to blow and be viral, you're not allowed to edit or even pull it down. And then whatever content these influencers were going to create on that particular, and I want you to keep in mind that this content was being created on the ground. Like, it's real-time content. You create it and you post it. And then they were going to be taking a look at this content, and then they'll be able to shortlist the 100 candidates they wanted. So I'd like you to reason with me and let me know in the comment section. Do you feel like maybe Dentsu School of Influencing was just taking advantage and using these influencers like to their maximum? And because let's calculate it this way. They're expecting 10 stories on Instagram, one reel, and one TikTok post. And out of the shortlisted candidate, we had a number of 300 people who've been shortlisted. So if you to multiply 300 people by the number of stories that are being done, the number of reels that are being done, and then the TikTok post, this is a social media engagement, a social media boost, like on the products this school is affiliated with. that I'm not going to mention actually in my video post. So these influencers end up doing like signing the contract, because you've been on the ground, like you've been on the ground waiting for over 2 hours, and you've spent your transport maybe to get to that particular venue, and you've been patient waiting to be involved in that activity. And the way they advertised this opportunity, they were like, it's an opportunity for influencers and content creators to come on the ground and interact, as well as be able to network. But then let us just talk sense here. If you are a young influencer looking forward to networking and interacting with influencers who've made it in the industry, tell me how you're just getting there and there are 300 people. Like, how do you get to interact and like network with 300 people? How many hours like do you need to network with all these people? It was something that was so strategic. I feel maybe it could have been a lesser number of, maybe let's say like 80 or 100 people. They just be specific and knowing, because the way this job was advertised, for them to shortlist the 300 people, they had to go through these influencers profiles and get to see how they are doing their influencing job and what have you. So this means, I think maybe at the back of my mind, I'm like, maybe this classification of these influencers was based on different categories and different groups. Maybe we had the group A, group B, and then maybe group C. So they knew most definitely like this one is a potential influencer we might want to be associated and to work with in the near future. But tell me, how do you get influencers on the ground and then you offer them a contract that could have been offered a day prior, so that these guys just know when they're coming on the venue, this is what they're going to be doing? Because they walk onto the venue with the expectation of doing an interview, only to find a contract binding them to create 10 stories on Instagram, one reel and one video post on TikTok. And then this content that they've created on the reels is to be done real time. There is nothing like you're shooting the content and then you're going to edit it from home or what have you. You're doing that content from that particular venue and you're going to post it in that particular venue. So I am just here trying to wonder, for those influencers who normally create their content and they need an extra hand in editing, I mean, like, maybe let me know what like really happened to you guys in the comment section. Like, were you guys able to edit your content using your phones? And for those who need maybe cameras, like the professional cameras, I know our phones can be like all good for doing professional content and influencing, but now for those who rely on cameras and they need an extra camera person hand, how did you guys manage this whole contract binding thing? Let me know in the comment section. Don't you think like this is exploitation? Because if I was in that particular venue, I'll take it as an exploitation actually. But then don't also come after me and tell me, oh, these guys knew what they were signing down for. No. Because when they came to this venue, majority have done their videos trying to air out their concerns on TikTok and other platforms on social media. They were told this is going to be an interview whereby Dentsu School of Influencing is supposed to be shortlisting 100 candidates out of the 300. But then, shock on you, they get to the venue is not even set up, and then they are issued with contracts, and this contract is binding you to create a certain number of videos, and then these videos only like belongs to Dentsu School of Influencing. And then once you post, and if this video is to go viral, Dentsu School of Influencing in the near future or at whatever given capacity and point, they are at liberty to come and reuse the video and the content to created, maybe to endorse that particular product. And if they're going to benefit from it, you own no share. Like, you don't even have a single coin from that kind of money they're going to make from this whole endorsement. I mean, isn't this exploitation? So these guys end up, because you've been there, you can imagine, like, put yourself in the shoe of this particular influencer. You've woken up, you've spent your money on transport, you've spent your 2 hours waiting for the venue to be done, like with the setup, and then you're issued with a contract, and you calculate the time and the resources you've input. This is your time you've set aside to just show up to this particular venue, thinking it's going to be a normal interview, and then you're shocked with and issued with a contract. So majority end up signing this contract, and then they get into the venue, because this signing of the contract was the legal, like, the ticket for you to be able to access the venue and even access the brands and the products that were on the venue. So they get there, and as we all know, like, in this state, you came for an interview. I don't think like many of them had thought of maybe carrying power banks and an extra source of electricity to charge their phone. So for those whom their phone went off, maybe let me know in the comment section, like, how did you guys handle this whole situation? Because I'm just trying to think, like, if your phone ran out of battery, like, what did you do? I think maybe Dentsu School of Influencing could have thought of maybe like having external charging systems like in that particular venue, so that for those whom their phones run out of battery, they can be able to charge their phones. So they end up doing these videos, and some end up editing using their phones, and they post these particular videos. So one thing that is clear to me, like, tell me how you advertise an opportunity and tell someone you're coming here to network and socialize with your fellow influencers, only to get on the ground and they are surprised and welcomed with a contract binding them into creating 10 stories, one reel and one TikTok post. And then in their defense, like a couple of days later, after various influencers aired their concerns, they come and do a virtual meeting with every other influencer that was on the ground, and they're like, no, whatever content you guys created, we were never trying to exploit nor use you. So my question and worry and concern is that how do you advertise an opportunity for people to come and network, and a venue that is carrying a capacity, like you've invited over 300 people. If I was to network with 300 people, how many hours do I need? Like, considering at the same time I'm supposed to create these 10 stories, one reel and one TikTok post. At the same time, this particular content I'm supposed to edit. So whatever that just transpired between Dentsu School of Influencing and Kenyan content creators and influencers is just an example of how upcoming influencers and influencers who haven't maybe like been involved in real endorsement go through. Because this the Dentsu School of Influencing, while doing the addressing via the virtual meeting they conducted couple of days after influencers complained on the exploitation, they defended themselves and stated that they were not planning to use this particular content that these people created on the ground for their own benefit. But then my question is, why would you draft a contract and then you said that this is something that is a standard contract? That means that this is a contract that has always been used over and over for it to be referred to as a standard contract. And then how do you tell somebody that you're not planning to use this content in your own benefit when all along you're giving them a document that is binding them into creating content for you? And even going ahead to say that if this was to blow and maybe make money, they ain't entitled to a single penny from this particular endorsement or a particular money you're going to collect from it. And then tell me how we're having over 300 influencers gathered in the same venue where there are different products and different brands. And then these influencers are expected to do 10 stories on Instagram, one reel and one TikTok. If you're to multiply, this is a summation of 12 contents per influencer. And then we have a total of 300 influencers in this particular venue. So 12 times 300 is in this like trying to boost social media and digital space engagement and what have you, which in my view and my point is a benefit, and it's only of positive contribution to Dentsu School of Influencing. Because I'm so sure, like, for them to come up with the short list of 300 influencers, they had a criteria of knowing who they would want to show up to that particular venue. Maybe they looked at their profile and they saw the kind of job and task these people do. So they knew basically, if I'm to tag influencer A or influencer B and influencer C, and this influencer A has this certain audience, and I'm expecting them to post this content in real time. This is basically a engagement and digital space endorsement being done at no cost. Because if you look at 300 influencers, I'm sure if you know what you really want and if you know you want to train, you know who to go for. So let me know what you think about this whole story in the comment section. Do you feel like Dentsu School of Influencers actually exploited Kenyan content creators, or you feel maybe content creators and influencers are the one who made a mistake? They shouldn't have signed down to doing this particular task in this particular venue. But then I want you to give me your feedback, keeping in mind that they didn't know they were going to walk into an event venue where they are to be issued with a contract binding them to doing this particular contents as the entry ticket to this particular venue. all they knew at the back of their mind was that they were walking into an interview, and Dentsu School of Influencing was supposed to shortlist best candidates they would like to work with, or maybe to train for them to be professional influencers and be able to help in endorsing their brands. As far as they came out and spoke their mind, stating they never benefited from these videos that were done by various influencers in that particular venue, I feel like there is total exploitation. Because tell me how a summation of over 200 influencers is gathered in the same venue, and then each influencer is expected to do 12 contents, and you're expected to post these contents in real time. And if these contents were to blow up, you're not supposed to claim anything. You're not supposed to be entitled to even a single coin, and you're not allowed to come back and edit or pull it down. Let me know what you think about this whole story in the comment section. I was your host, Paula. Ciao.